Hello my dear students, as you know, we are discussing the chapter organizing. In organizing, in the last class we have discussed about the organizational structure, that is a functional and divisional structure. And we had a doubt clearing session also. You said you are very clear about that one. So I am moving to the next portion, that is a formal and informal organization. Now we are taking the formal organization first. We can see formal organization refers to the organizational structure which is designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. So for the formal organization means there is a definite structure for that one. There are definite rules and regulations, and it is formed by the management itself to achieve a particular goal. Repeat again, formal organization refers to the organization structure which is designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. So a definite task is to be achieved, and everybody must be very clear about that one. So the formal organization specifies clearly the boundaries of authority and responsibility, and there is a systematic coordination among the various activities to achieve the organizational goal. Already, as I told you, the formal organization has a definite goal to be achieved. If the goal has to be achieved, everybody must be clear what is the goal to be achieved, what is the relationship between different people working in an organization. That is what it says. It specifies clearly the boundaries of authority and responsibility of each person, and there is a systematic coordination. Say, take the example of our school. Principal is there, vice principal is there, coordinators are there, teachers are there. All of them are not having equal authority and responsibility. Everybody must be clear the boundary. That means I, being a teacher, I know clearly what is the area within which I have to work. I cannot do the work of the coordinator or the vice principal or the principal. There are people there. That is why it says authority and responsibility, and there is a systematic coordination. Different activities are going on in the school. In any business organization, different activities are going on. It is necessary to achieve the goal. All these activities cannot be kept separate. It has to be brought together. That is known as a coordination. So in a formal organization, different activities done by different group or individuals will have to be coordinated so that it will be easy to achieve the goal. Various activities to achieve organizational goal. The structure in a formal organization can be functional or divisional. Already we have seen. In big companies, they will be following divisional structure. In ordinary companies, they will be following functional structure. That depends on the size of the company and the number of products they are producing. That depends on the interest of the decision is taken by the top level management. Now, we are going to see the features of the formal organization. Number one, it specifies the relationship among various job positions, makes clear who has to report to whom. As I told you clearly in the examination school, it is very clear who is on the top. Principal is there. Below that one, the vice principal is there. Now, what is the duty of the vice principal, coordinators, teacher? Everything is clearly stated. And everybody is clear who is superior and who is subordinate. Again, everybody is clear who has to report to whom. All these things are clear. In a business organization, take the example of a company. Board of directors are there. In that one, the chairman is there, or the managing director is there. Then managers are there, the head of the departments, all different groups are there. All these different personnel or managers are very clear what is their position, what is the area of work to be done. Simple example, the HOD of the purchase department cannot interfere with the activities of the production department or sales department. That is what says, specifying the relationship among various job positions, makes clear who has to report to whom. Then it is a means to achieve the objectives stated in the plans. Already we have seen in the planning, it says in any organizer and in planning, they set the goal to be achieved. So here the organization structure of the formal or informal organization is done so that the goal can be achieved as required by the plans. Then through formal organization, the efforts of various departments are coordinated, interlinked and integrated. As I told you, in a company or in a business organization, there will be different departments. Purchasing department, even if they do it very perfectly, it will not be able to achieve the goal with the help of the other, without the help of the others. Similarly, production department, even if they produce high quality products, without the sales department support, they will not be able to sell the goods. So, it is necessary that all these departments should be coordinated, activities should be coordinated, and they should be joining hands together. That is why it says, various departments are coordinated, interlinked and integrated. Take the example of our school. However efficient I am, the success of the common students does not depend on me only. All the teachers who are working there. So, I being a part of the teaching faculty will have to cooperate with, I have to join hands with the other teachers teaching in your class so that all of us will be making sure that you pass with a very good mark. Then, it is decided by the top level manager. In the case of a formal organization, as I told you in the introduction, it is formed by the top level management. They are deciding how the work is to be done, what is to be done, by whom it is to be done, what is the goal to be achieved. All these is decided by the top level management. It is decided by the top level management for smooth function. The more emphasis is on what to be performed. In the case of a formal organization, the work to be done is given more importance. Individual interest is not considered there. Overall achievement of goals is given more importance than the interest of the individual. That is why it says more emphasis on work. Everybody is told clearly what is the role to be played by each individual. So when everybody is doing their part, when I am doing my part, an accountancy teacher, economics teacher, or in a business organization, when the purchasing manager or the purchasing department head, production department, when everybody is doing their part, combined together, it will be a successful one. Okay, we are going to see the advantages of the formal organization. Number one, it is easy to fix responsibility. As I told you, in the case of a business organization, take the example of a company. The board of directors are there. It says clearly the memorandum, the articles of association, everything in the case of a company states clearly what is the authority, what is the responsibility of each individual. When something goes wrong, it is very clear the mistake is done by a particular person. Coming back to the school. If anything goes in the school activities, the principal is answerable for that one. If anything goes wrong in my teaching, I am answerable for that one. If anything wrong with the class 11 and 12 activities, maybe the coordinator will be answerable. So, things are very clear who has to do what and who is answerable for any mistake or any problem that happens. Easy to fix the responsibility. Again coming back, if students of common students in the class 12, your class, if they are not getting very good marks in business studies, only I will be responsible. Principal will not be asking anybody. Same is the case in the case of business organization. If something goes wrong with the purchasing department, only the HOD of the purchasing department will be answerable. Nobody will be asking why it happened to the production department or sales department. So that is fixing responsibility is very easy because everybody is clear what is to be done, by whom and when it is to be done. So easy to fix responsibility. The role of each member is specified. As I told you, being a teacher in Plaza Vidyavihar, I know clearly what is the role to be played by me. The coordinator is behind different coordinators. Each one is very clear what is the role to be played by each one. That is why it says the role of each member is specified. So no ambiguity. That means that no doubt is there. When something goes wrong with the business studies, nobody will be asking Navya madam or Litchi madam or Tresima madam, whatever it may be. Only they will be asking me. No doubt about that, because I am given that responsibility. So no ambiguity. Avoid duplication of work. As I told you earlier, when I come to the class, I am very clear what subject I have to teach. That is business studies. I will never teach you accountancy or economics. There are other teachers. If I teach, by mistake, if I teach accountancy, that is called duplication. Already the Abhiya madam is there to teach accountancy. If I repeat, what happens? My subject portion will be lagging, and unnecessarily I am dealing with accountancy, which is not necessary. So that is what is called duplication of work. When in the formal organization, everybody is clear what is the work to be done. So there will be no duplication or doubling of work. Then unity of command is maintained. You remember in the second chapter we have studied unity of command. That means each employee should be getting orders and answerable to only one superior. I am very clear who is my superior. If something goes wrong, I will be getting orders only from the principal. So if something goes wrong, I will be answerable to him. If I am getting orders from different people, then there will be, we have seen the result is going to be confusion. So it says unity of command is followed, means I know clearly from whom I have to take order, that is the principal. And if I have any problem with anything what is to be done, I can go to the principal. So there will not be any confusion there. Then each employee is clear about the role to be played. So it leads to effective accomplishment of goals. As I told you, in the case of formal organization, each person is told, each employee is told what is the role to be played, what is the area that he can go along. I usually tell you the example. When I am teaching class 11, your class, I don't have to worry about what is going on in G2 or F2. There are teachers there. I don't have to interfere with that activity. So it says each employee is clear about the role to be played. My role, my duty is to teach in commerce class, even that one business studies only. So it leads to effective accomplishment of goals. Since I am very sure about the work to be done, there will not be any confusion. I will be able to do the work very easily. Then it provides stability to the organization, since there are specific rules for the behavior of the employees. Here, I am not free to do anything what I like. If I am at home, I am free. Nobody is there to question me. But the moment I enter the compound of Plaza Vidyavihar, there are rules and regulations to be followed. Same is the case with the company. In a company, each employee must be clear about the rules and regulations. And everybody has to follow the rules and regulations. We have studied in planning. One of the type of plan is rule. It is 100% clear that all the rules are applicable to everybody. So it provides ability to the organizations, since there are specific rules for the behavior of the employees. It is very clear how I should behave as long as I am in the compound of the school. Now we are moving to the disadvantages. Number one, it may lead to procedural delays due to established chain of command. You remember in the second chapter we have studied scalar chain. In the scalar chain, there is a prescribed line for moving or for the communication to be done. The top level manager will be there, assistant managers will be there. There is a rule, or there is a route through which communication has to be passed. Somebody cannot jump to the topmost person. You remember this scalar chain, we have studied. A is there, under him there are B, C, D, assistant managers or HODs are there. So there is a communication channel to be followed. They cannot follow any channel what they like. It is compulsory they have to follow that channel naturally. When such lines will have to be followed, delays will be there. That is what we have said. Scalar chain. One of the main problem with the scalar chain is a delay in communication, because they will have to follow a particular line of communication. So it may lead to procedural delays due to a established chain of command. Chain of command is there. Who has to command? Who is allowed to command to whom? All these things are clearly stated. Then creative talents may not be given adequate recognition, since the rules do not allow any deviation from the laid down policies. Now this means that in Prasad Vidya Vihar or in any business organization, there are rules and regulations are there. Everybody has to follow. When something is introduced in the school, maybe as an employee of the school, I may have some suggestion. But usually that suggestions may be good for me, may not be good for others. So all the suggestions cannot be accepted. That is why it says creative talents. I may be having a better suggestion to do the work what the principal or the vice principal has told me to do it. But since it is affecting the whole group in the school, I will have to follow that one. I will not be allowed to include or do whatever I like. Whatever instruction is given by the top level management, I will have to follow it. That is why creative talents may not be given adequate recognition. Individual interests cannot be taken or considered, because different people will be having different interests. But the top level management will be introducing something which is acceptable to everybody. Their individual interests cannot be seriously considered. The rules do not allow any deviation from the laid downs. Thus, example is say the timetable. Suppose on Monday I am given the first period. Whether I like it or not, I have to be in your class during the first period. I cannot come at any time and say I am going to teach a business study. Then there will be a lot of problems. So the timetable says clearly, Monday morning I have to be in your class. That is why I say, do not allow any deviation from the laid down policy. A school has to follow the timetable. A business organization has to follow the work to be done given by the top level management. Each individual cannot do anything what they like. More emphasis is given on organization structure, so it is difficult to understand all human relations. In the case, only official relationship is accepted. Friendly relationship is not very much accepted or engaged in a formal organization. So that is why it says more emphasis is given on organizational structure. The organizational structure says clearly what is the relationship to be followed by each individual, who has to work in which department, what is the relationship between different people working in different sections or departments of the organizer. Everything is clearly stated. So it is difficult to understand the human relation. There, not much importance is given to the individual friendly relationship. So as I told you, there are formal and informal organization. Formal organization is officially formed with rules and regulations specifying clearly what is the position of each individual, what is the area of work to be done by each individual. Everything is clearly stated. We have seen the advantages and disadvantages. Now we are moving to the informal organization. Informal organization, look at this one. It's a network of social relationship among employees is called informal organization. It emerges from within the formal organization. So look at this one once again. Network of social relationship. In the other one we have seen this is not taken into consideration, but in informal organization more importance is given to the social relationship, or informal organization is coming because of the interaction of the people who are working in the formal organization. So network of social relationship among employees is called informal organization. It emerges. This informal organization is formed or coming out because of the relationship that is happening. Simple example I can say, when I came to Plaza Vidya Vihar, I knew only one or two teachers here. But now I know there are more than 150 teachers, staff are there. I know everybody. And I have seen some of them are having same interest like me. So that is what is called social relationship. Even though there are so many people, I may be becoming so close, or we have very friendly relationship with some of the people. That kind of relationship is known as social relationship. Now, look at the features. It originates from within the formal organization as a result of personal interaction. So, it originates only if there is formal organization. Informal organization can come into existence. As I told you, when I came in 2011, when I joined the Plaza Vidya Vihar, I knew only 2 or 3 teachers were working here. Now I have so many friends, and maybe as I am working with them, I may find that some of them may be very much having the interest. Say, maybe I am good in singing. I may find that some other teachers are also good in singing, or I may be good in football play. I may find that some young teachers are good in football play. So, we may join together. That is what is called originates within the formal organization as a result of personal interaction. When I interact with all the teachers, I may find that some of them are having same taste like me. Maybe to play football, to play caroms, or to have a dramatic club, or maybe we will join together and after the class we will sit together and talk and chat, etc. So, this is what says, result of personal interaction. The standards of behavior evolve from group norms rather than rules and regulations. In the case of formal organization, we have seen personal relationship is not given much importance. But here, this is coming out, this is starting only because of that personal relationship. The standards of behavior evolve from group norms rather than rules and regulations. Now here, just like the formal organization, rules and regulations may not be there. And joining hands with 4 or 5 of our friends who are having the same interest. And we will be making rules and regulations. No written or rigid rules and regulations will not be there. We will be making rules and regulations according to our interest. Whatever is good for us, we will be making the rules and regulations. Then, independent channels of communication is available here. In the case of a formal organization, as we have seen, the strict or rigid channel of communication has to be followed. There it says clearly who has to report to whom and who can take orders, who can give orders to whom. All these things are clear. But such kind of a strict rules and regulations are not there. Independent channels of communication is possible there. So in informal organization, the members are free to communicate with anybody. There are no strict rules and regulations. Unity of command, etc. has to be followed. That is why it says independent channels of communication is possible. Next one. It emerges spontaneously, not as per the rules and regulations, not created by the management. As I told you, in Plaza Vidya Vihar, when all of us are mingling together, naturally we may find that there are some people who are having the same interest. They may join together and meet together. Maybe they will be playing football, or they will be having a dramatic club or a music club, etc. That is because of their personal interest, not formed by the management. Maybe management will come to know about it, but it will not be affecting the functions of the management. All these activities are done outside the formal organization's activities. So it emerges spontaneously because of the interest of the people. Not created by the management, it has no definite structure, just like the functional structure or divisional structure, etc. It has no definite structure at all. It is because of the relationship or friendly relationship. And when anybody is not interested, he can leave the informal organization. When somebody is more interested or when another person is interested, he can join like that. So definite structure is not there. Then the advantages: no prescribed lines of communication leads to faster spread of information and feedback. As I told you, in the case of a formal organization, the chain of command has to be followed, SCADA chain has to be followed, and the main disadvantage is it will be delaying the communication. But here anybody is free to communicate with any other person, no delay at all. It helps to fulfill the social needs of the members and adapts to find like-minded people, gives job satisfaction. So here I will be, if I am joining an informal organization, I am joining because I find that the members in that organization are having same interest like me. So since we have the same interest, we will be able to have a mental satisfaction. It allows to find like-minded people, gives job satisfaction and sense of belonging. When I am in that company, I will be feeling more happy and more free, and I will be able to interact with them in a better way, and that will be helping me to work in Placid Vidya Vihar in a better way, because I find that there are very close friends with whom I can share my feeling, join hands with me, etc. Then it contributes toward the fulfillment of the organizational objectives by compensating for inadequacies in the formal organization. Now in the formal organization we have seen personal relationship is not given much importance. So because of that one, maybe the work will be affected. But here, since the personal relationship is very good, naturally good organization, the activities of the organization can be done in a better way. Better relationship means everybody will be interacting, everybody will be working together. Then disadvantages: it will be difficult to implement changes when formal informal organization opposes. Now sometimes the problem with the informal organization, sometimes we have seen in business organization, there are unions are there, approved and not approved organizations are there. Sometimes this kind of informal organization becomes very powerful, and because of the external environment problem, changes will have to be introduced. When changes are introduced, there is a chance that the informal organization members may oppose it, maybe because they find that it is not acceptable to them. But the management may be introducing the changes for the benefit of the organization. So there can be some opposition. Members may be pressurized to conform to the group expectation. This can be harmful to the organization. Sometimes I am a member of the informal organization. When changes are introduced, when rules are brought, I may be ready to follow that one, but the informal organization where I am the member may not agree with me, may not allow me to accept that one. So since I am a member of the informal organization, I will be forced to follow their instruction, and there will be confusion or conflict with the rules and relations or regulations given by the management, and also the instructions given by my friends. It can spread rumors which goes against the interest of the formal organization. As we have seen, since there are no strict rules and regulations, more importance is given to the friendship or the friendly relationship between the members. Sometimes the members may spread rumors which may be the against of the interest of the formal organization, and definitely that can be harmful to the organization.